Welcome to Puzzled and Chatty, the international edition, with me, Adam Gray, where I talk with jigsaw puzzlers from around the world and share their stories, thoughts, and opinions on this growing competitive activity and the global puzzle community. In this inaugural giant episode, I talk with not just one of the most popular and fastest speed puzzlers in the world, but also one of the friendliest. He had a very successful 2025, finishing second at the World Championships and third at the European Championship. My first guest, and from Poland, he is Wiktor D Puzzler. In this episode, we discuss the puzzling community in Poland, the 2025 World Championships, and the upcoming 2026 Championships. We debate about mixed teams at the World Competitions, the rise in speed puzzling globally, and the newly announced 2026 World Series of Puzzling. So pull up a chair and pick a puzzle off the shelf to do while you listen to two people who are puzzled and chatty. Hello and welcome to the first episode of Puzzled and Chatty International. I am joined by somebody who pretty much everyone I think is going to know. So just to start off, welcome Wiktor.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm thrilled that you are the first guest for this international version. I think you were one of the most requested people when I asked for suggestions, your name came up by far, far the most. So I think that's a great thing for you.
Yeah, thank you
People
so much for having me.
people definitely know who you are, and like you've had a couple appearances already on the puzzle or podcast Peace Talks, and I'm gonna link those in the description below. It gives so much information about your background, which is super fascinating. And are there any other places people can find you on before we get into our talks and our topics for today? Do you have any social media platforms, or where can people find you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Wiktor D Puzzler and under the same name on YouTube.
Yeah, and I've enjoyed your YouTube videos. They're definitely helpful for me when it comes to speed puzzling, and I know a lot of other people are watching them as well. It's yeah, I'm just very excited to speak with you, and thanks for taking the time, however long this may take today.
And
Um,
thank you for having me again.
so we'll just go straight into it. Like I said, I'm not going to go into much of your background. The For those people that might have watched the Canadian version of this on the channel, it's very much about getting to know the different Canadian speed puzzlers and their backgrounds, as we're not quite as well known globally as you are. So this isn't really going to be about background information though when it comes to the international. We're much more excited to talk about puzzling and speed puzzling and stuff that's happening around the world and how it's different from country to country. So you're here as the Polish representative for today. And again, there's a Peace Talks episode that focuses on the Polish powerhouses that you are. There's quite a few of you. We'll talk about that a bit, but very, very briefly, we'll just very briefly touch on your background. How did you start puzzling? Not necessarily speed puzzling, but just puzzling in general.
I started puzzling when I was a child. I did some small puzzles. I have those very vintage trefoil Disney puzzles, and they are very valuable right now. And I didn't know it before going into speed puzzling because then I got into the Facebook groups and everything. And look, those puzzles from way back are like treasures that I have on my attic. And I'm still trying to go there and to get them. So yeah, I didn't have many of them, but I was doing a lot of them. So I know I did them most probably at least 20 times each of them. And I think this is also why I am still able to repeat puzzles for speedruns and for speed puzzling. Maybe that comes from that. Yeah. So around 3 years old, that's how I started.
Did you have like any family influences? Like, are you the puzzler in the family, or is there a parent or grandparent or cousin or something else that's helped to influence you?
I'm definitely the puzzler in the family. Not really anyone is doing puzzles. I know, and this is the story that came up this year at Christmas table, that my family, so like my mom and my dad and their friends, they were doing a 2000 piece puzzle or more of this very, standard German castle. And they were doing it for like 3 months with their friends. Some were coming by and, putting 5 pieces and that's it. So I think this is the first mention in my family of puzzles. Um, and when we were children, so I have siblings, we were doing puzzles. We really liked it, but there was never any culture about it. We just had some puzzles and we were doing them a lot. Um, yeah, and now, as I said, I am the puzzler, and my family isn't really into puzzles, so they would never buy puzzles themselves, but they take mine sometimes, especially my brother.
How big of a puzzle collection would you say you have?
Right now, in terms of from let's say from 1 to 10, I would say 9. It's a lot.
Yeah, yeah, it's yeah. Most of us don't really want to say the actual number because it's a high it's a high number.
I don't
So
even know.
when would you say you switched into speed puzzling then?
The thing is, I haven't switched. I abandoned puzzling around 13, 14. And not because I was bored, I was just like doing different things.
Yeah.
Uh, and when I was doing my second major in university, I was like, yeah, I discovered current puzzles as well. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'll do some puzzles that I have at home. I had some wasgates, um, I think 3 of them, and I took them to Krakow where I studied. And I started just doing puzzles, not for speed, just to do them. And then Karen did the recaps of the worlds first and the second ones. And after the second ones, I was like, oh, yeah, I think I can do that. And apparently I wasn't able to. So I trained
So
a lot.
yeah, well, I think we'll talk about the training a little bit as we go through. I know you've covered it in the past, but um, what was your first what was your first competition that you were a part of?
First ever competition was actually a local competition, not even the online one. We had a competition in Krakow. It was a 1000 piece solo from Castelland. And this is one of the most infamous events that happened in Poland like 2 years ago. Because this is the place in the competition where Christian, Veronica, me, Ania Kazana, a lot of people just met up.
Yeah, there's not really a chance for anyone else at that point. It's which I think we'll come back to a bunch of things, but I think that's a good intro like into the Polish puzzle scene in general. Why it's so hard to nail it down, but why do you think or what might be the reason Poland is producing so many top end puzzlers?
I was thinking about it if there is anything specific. And one thing that I kind of guess that can be a factor to it is that the puzzle accessibility is insane in Poland. Our puzzles are very, very cheap. Like, I don't know any other country that has cheaper puzzles. So, for example, when I was going to Europeans this July, I was talking with Janet and her puzzles, and I told her like we have this kind of discount or a bargain in Poland for puzzles, and I can bring you puzzles and buy them new. And she was like, how much are there? And they were like 4 euros for new Ravensburgers.
that's that's so different. Yeah, that's not what we're paying in Canada at least. I don't know about the States, but that might, yeah, that could be a contributing factor. Accessibility is huge when it comes to any activity or sport. So yeah, but there must be some other countries that where it's like price will price will play a factor, but it's just when we're looking at the standings at, like, say, worlds or other national competitions, and a Polish individuals there, there's only so much training, or accessibility can do and training can do. Is there any other maybe possibly the weirdest hypothesis you can think of that maybe why Poland is so strong?
Hmm. Uh, the second factor I would say is just luck. Uh, because it's not really, the chances aren't high for one country, not as big country as Canada or USA, to have so many really, really great puzzlers. And I I cannot tell that it's something that there is in Poland that's causing this. I think, as I said, it's part of luck to just they just spawned. And also the same is with the Netherlands, right? They have also so many amazing puzzlers.
Yeah.
And yeah, and also, the thing is that in Poland and in the Netherlands, I suppose, for the people that are not at the very top, they can, go against the very fast people on their daily basis. Because we go to many different competitions. We have our Polish online competitions, so like a Polish EJJ,
Yeah.
and you can go against anyone. And most of the time, I'm there, Christian is there, Jagoda is there. Jagoda is like the fourth powerhouse in Poland. Um, and yeah, and the fact that you can do that is encouraging if someone is this type of person to be encouraged by a challenge, right? And we have a lot of people that are encouraged by challenges in Poland. So everyone is training a lot. And I also trained a lot. So I wouldn't say, maybe now I would say that I had talent and that helped me to develop the skills I have now. But also I didn't start from, the times like Christian did. Christian started from below 40. I started in like slightly under 2 hours.
Wow, really? That was I didn't know that was that's slow. Like I would never think that would be for you. For a lot of people, under 2 hours is really good. But considering what you're doing now, that's a massive jump. And are you kind of saying that it's help pushed because of the other high quality people you're up against, where that competition is driving you to do better?
That too. I know for me that having better people in the competitions is a change of perspective because it's different to do and train speed puzzling at home, where if you do it like me, you just sit down and analyze like basically everything, and you try to learn from that. You experiment, you do so many different things. But after you went through this process of self-development and you go and challenge yourself with people that are on the higher level than you, then something also changes inside of you because you have gained the perspective of not, despite your, how do you call that? Despite the fact that you tried so hard, you're not as good as them. So it's kind of going in the direction of you're accepting yourself to be that way, but also you're seeing the potential that there is. And without seeing the potential and like the road ahead of you, you cannot really go on the road, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a quite a few good points within that, and it's just I think there's just a lot of countries that are looking at Poland specifically that are trying to figure out how to kind of mimic this, like, and especially the smaller type of countries. So sure, there's the states that produce a lot of really fast puzzlers, but they have what 350 million or so people to pull from. It's which makes it a bit easier, but you're seeing strong people come out of smaller countries like Poland and the Czech Republic, Czechia, whichever. Germany is producing. Germany's a bigger country, but they're producing. Netherlands, as you mentioned, as well. These smaller countries are producing really fast people near the top. Ireland's coming out, UK as well. It's growing. Australia. What would you say that the Polish puzzle community or organization or whichever is doing well at the moment?
Hmm. I would say that the fact that we have our own competitions is really great. Uh, we don't really have any like national training. I don't know, because I know that in Canada you have something uh, along the lines of that. So you have this YouTube channel from the association, I think, where they explain things, and also you do that. And we don't really have that here. And also my videos are in English, so it's much more difficult for Polish people to learn from them.
Yeah, I've thought about that. Yeah, we do have obviously in my videos on here, but yeah, we have. I didn't think they would come today, but the Canadian Speed Puzzlers organization, which isn't linked to our national organization. They're their own separate entity, but it's run by some of our top speed puzzlers. Devin Donaldson, for instance, is helps to run or does run all of it, and it's I did see a big increase in overall ability from a lot of people this past in 2025 when they launched all their programs, and I think 2026 you'll see even more coming out of Canada because there seems to be a group effort from not from the organization, not from the Canadian Jigsaw Puzzle Association, but more so from the individuals because we're so spread out as well. It's such a large geographic country. It's not high in population, but it's to stay in touch with everybody. We have to have things like this. There's no quick trips on the weekend to the other side of the country or anything like that. So it's good that you have if your organization's running stuff. That's definitely helpful. Are there any challenges within the Polish uh, community or organization or anything? I think we all have some.
Yeah, we have some, but the organization is doing really well on very different levels. Um, One thing that I would say is particularly great is, and also one thing in that one thing is not great, but it's, minor. So our Polish nationals were, in terms of organization and what puzzles we got, were amazing. The only issue, and for me, because I know that not everyone is thinking that way, for me, the location was a big issue, and it's not going to change next year. But I can turn a blind eye on it and just enjoy the fact that our nationals are having um, actually unreleased puzzles for all rounds. And that's something that some federations cannot do.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing a lot more. We're seeing a lot more of that happen. Is Ravensburger your sponsor for your nationals?
No, it's not. And this is also a different thing that I believe can be a big factor to why Polish puzzlers are so good, is the fact that we have Polish brands. And Treffle is Polish brand. Castellant is a Polish brand. Cherry Pazzi is a Polish brand. And I think one of them is, I don't know. Those three are like the main ones that people know. And Treffle was sponsoring the nationals. And also our president of the association is working with Treffle, and that is kind of paying off to that direction.
So that must help at the European Championships then, if because they used Treffel last year for some of their rounds. Was that a benefit?
No, it wasn't. And this is a very interesting topic because Truffle has never done this specific quality of puzzles before the Europeans and Polish nationals. Polish nationals were gonna happen before Europeans, but they happened a month later. There were complications. Um, and the Europeans and the Polish nationals are actually the only places and events that had this specific piece cut for the puzzles. And they have this, it's called Premium Plus line, but it was only for 1,000 pieces. And for those events, they made 500 pieces. So all of the puzzles in Europeans that were sponsored by Treble and also in Polish nationals were unreleased.
Unreleased and a different type of piece cut.
Different type of piece cut from the things that were on the market at that point.
Yeah, I like when that comes in, and you discussed the piece cut stuff on the one of the Peace Talks episodes, so I won't get into it here. But while like most people are not like memorizing piece cuts or anything like that, there are pieces that stand out and kind of act like as a guide to other things that are going to go on in the puzzle. I think you mentioned you know like 30 something pieces or uh, within the Ravensburger. Yeah, but it does help with the pieces around it as well. I did attempt to try to sit down and try to memorize some of the pieces. It doesn't work. It's so tough to be able to do that. Um, which what yeah, so for Polish to kind of finish off a little bit with the Polish puzzle aspects, what do you think might be coming up for Poland in 2026?
Oh, there is this one very big event that is coming up. And this is outside of the Polish nationals, but it's kind of being something similar to Polish nationals. Because I don't know if you know, but in Europe is actually, as I've heard, well known, this event that is called Pyrkon. So it's like a fantasy convention, very big in Poland, organized every single year. And they decided this year that they want to do something with the association. And so they created this system of different regions in Poland doing their regionals. So they do these local competitions, and if they are on the list of the competitions that are recognized by this convention, uh, the winners, so the top three of each of the competitions in different regions, are going to advance to the like a grand final in the convention in June. And so this is going to be an event that is going to be very exclusive because you cannot join it if you didn't win, weren't on the podium in one of the regionals. Um, and then the thing is that for this event, if you are a winner in the grand final, you're going to have your costs of flights and hotels and fees, entry fees for Europeans covered. So in Turkey.
Okay. That's I like those little type I like those types of competitions where there's multiple aspects to it, different rounds to kind of work your way through. The exclusivity of it really I think that's going to put pressure on whoever makes it through as well because there's going to be so much more focus on those types of people. Are you I'm assuming that you are aiming to be a part of all of that.
I already am. There was first competition, the first regionals, and I went there because in my region we don't have any competitions. So I was like, okay, I can just go there. So I went there and I qualified. So now I'm just waiting for June.
When you say qualify, did you win?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah.
I know you're trying to be humble, saying, "Oh, qualified." We know what you meant. It's you definitely won. Uh, so yeah, you'll go up. Are the when we're looking at the top puzzlers in Poland. You've already mentioned a few. Are all of you kind of from different regions?
We kind of are. Yeah, I would say so.
So that makes it even more interesting if they're all going through this regional path. It's good that yeah, there's top that you're spread out, so you can kind of all appear together at the end as going head to head instead of the early rounds where it might not be as interesting. So that's good that you're spread out.
with it.
Yeah, but also people in Poland travel a lot for the competitions, which is not, I'm guessing, it's not a thing for Canadian people to just, there is a competition on the other side of the country. I can just drive there, right?
Definitely not drive. We have a few regional competitions. So we had two of them in 2025. One closer to the east of Canada, and then one much closer to the west side. So yeah, you're definitely not driving those, but you will get people that will fly out if they have the time and the ability to do that. In 2026, Canada's going to have I think like 7 or 8 different regional competitions across the country, and I know there will be people that will try to spread out over that period of time. Um, so yeah, we'll see how they go. I tend not to do the regional ones as much, but I might in 2026. Yeah, I want moving on to we'll touch on the Polish aspect as we go through this a little bit more. But I just want to briefly talk about Worlds from this year. It's been discussed at length from a lot of people. There was a lot of things to take away from Worlds in 2025. Again, you've mentioned a few on other podcasts and such. Uh, your Let's just talk about your results because they kind of encompass the some of the issues that came up with Worlds. Uh, what were your what were your thoughts kind of on puzzles like repeat puzzles like New York postcard that was in your round specifically?
Yes, with all honesty, I hate the fact that they were there. I hated the fact that I pulled out the New York postcard from my bag. And I hated the fact that I had to do it. I knew I can do the other one, but I was like, no, I mean, I just have to do the postcard. And it was so depressing. Like, you go to the competition, you're expecting to have a choice, but you don't have a choice. And
Yeah,
also, like, this is one thing, but the repeated puzzles, this is just, um, for me, this is a scandal. Like, there should be a boycott because of that. Because this is unserious. And no, this is such a disrespect to every single participant that, yeah, 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 I think dot.
Yeah, in one of my recap videos, I think I said that phrase almost exactly. It's yeah, the repeat puzzles in particular. That was not. I'm hoping for Worlds 2026 that they'll listen and try to avoid something like that. I don't mind reusing in the qualifiers. I don't mind using puzzles that have already been released. It's not ideal. A massive companies like Ravensburger have the ability they have months in advance. They know what's coming up to produce different puzzles for every round. We don't have to have the choices. That was dumb. I didn't like the choices for the individuals or pairs, but they have the time to be able to do it. We'll see how that.
Do they? Because we don't know how they are working with the Federation, which is changing the rules every other week.
Yes, there's also that. I'm not going to delve too much into that this time. I think you've mentioned it on other platforms. I've definitely mentioned it on this platform. So the information's out there. The opinions from people have been shared. But when we get to the semifinal rounds, we have you were in my semifinal round with this one, and then you had the final puzzle here.
Yeah.
I already know what your feelings weren't great when you saw this one. You did like this. You did like the um, what was it? I forget, kimono
Blossom Walk.
blossom walk. Thank you, with the kimonos in it. I keep Kawaii Chaos stuck in my mind, but I know that's the third puzzle. Uh, you like this type of puzzle.
I do. I do. The only thing I didn't like about this puzzle was the kimonos. The rest was fine.
They weren't easy. They definitely slowed me. I've watched the video back because I missed the finals by a minute and like a minute or so, and it was the one purple kimono that I must have spent 3 minutes or something. I just couldn't get it done, and that's what cost me a final spot. And then yeah, what do you think about these puzzles where they're very much themed towards the puzzle world, which I'm seeing more and more of?
To be completely honest, I don't care. Like, I know that people are very happy to see this kind of, incorporation of the speed puzzling into the actual puzzles. But I'm like, I don't really care what is on the puzzle as long as it's not horrible to do. So, or it's something repeated. So, for example, last year in the Paris final, we had this Valladolid puzzle. And then in the Europeans Paris final, we had the Budapest puzzle. And then in Poland, we had in the individual final the Olsztyn puzzle, which is the city that the competition was from. And they all look like the same style. And I'm like, I am exhausted. I don't want to do them anymore. It's like
It's
with
yeah.
your flowers.
Oh, it's
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I've made it very well known that I have a dislike I've been practicing them so much and trying to get better at them. But yeah, of the three semifinal puzzles, the one that I'm in was the only one with flowers in it, which is it's just it can't be just a coincidence every time, but who knows? Um, and then pairs. So you overall you finished in second place, which is absolutely incredible. Um, it's it was so close at the top. Watching the final and the three of you for second and third, the moments on how tense it was. I was outside on the grass hill watching the final, and none of us could see the black pieces you had placed on top of the puzzle, and
Neither did I.
we we were like, oh yeah, he has it, and then suddenly you moved, and we saw the pieces get placed somewhere else, and then it's just the. I wish someone was recording outside because it was just it was chaos watching everyone try to bounce back and forth between them. Was it a was it a mistake putting the pieces on the black?
Uh, I don't know. Because it's the only time in my speed puzzling journey that I was able to just do the black pieces by looking at the shapes. I never experienced this kind of like a enlightenment before, and I was very surprised during the final because I knew that the blacks are coming, and then they came, and I was like, okay, what do I do now? And I started doing like looking at the pieces, and also actually this is something that was I was weirded out by how well it worked. I was looking at the picture and looking at the white dots that were on the pieces, and I was like, okay, this dot goes there, and this part goes there. I don't, I don't fully comprehend how I differentiated the dots, but I'm not complaining. And about the pieces on the puzzle, this was the result of this kind of enlightenment. So I wouldn't do it probably if there wasn't this happening, but since the it was happening, I was just like, okay, let's just place that there. And it's not like I was aware that they're going to be almost not visible for me or for anyone else. But this was kind of automatic to do.
Yeah, it was. I think it's also back to how much training you did in advance. I think like how many puzzles would you say you do, especially like in your big training, when you're proper training? How many puzzles are you doing like on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, that's difficult because it varies. I would say from 2 to 8,
Okay.
500 pieces.
Yeah. And pretty much every day. I can't imagine you're taking many days off.
Yeah. But it wasn't really because of the fact that I really wanted to train. It was a form of procrastination from different things that I had to do.
Yeah, you were doing your masters, right? And that's yeah,
I've
I
been
was
there
supposed
trying
to
to
do
be.
the masters.
Yeah. Uh,
yeah, when I was doing my masters, it was very much what else can I do that's not my masters? And yeah, it's I fully understand that. With the pairs results, do want to talk about the structure of the pairs competition, where it's 500 pieces in the qualifiers and the semifinals, and then we switch into a 1,000 piece puzzle for the finals. What are your thoughts on this on this structure?
I dislike it. And I know that my purse partner also dislikes it. But I know many people that really like the fact that it's that way because they are maybe not faster with 1,000 pieces, but they are uh, faster than other people because people tend to slow down at the higher piece counts. Uh, and actually, the top two of this year's Paris final is they are that way. It's Chiara, Katy, Veronica, and Anya. They are those people that just prefer to have a bigger piece count. And yeah, for me, if I try to justify it, it's kind of, cranking up the difficulty of what you have to do in the final. But at the same time, look at the individual final. The difficulty was up there, but we didn't have a 1,000 piece. So it's possible to just go for 500 pieces. And also for me, this is there's lack of sense in the fact that we have to go through the rounds and do the 500 pieces. And most of the people have to train with 500 pieces if they want to go up to the final. But some of them are not going to go to the final, but they have to train the 500 pieces just for the best people to not care about the 500 pieces and just training the 1,000. It's such a separation between what different people should train. And it's not a matter of I need to train gradients. No, it's a fact of I need to choose a piece count. And this is nonsensical for me. We should have two different categories or just go for the 500s and be done with it.
Yeah, I like I like the 1,000 piece in the final. I think it adds the extra level of difficulty. It makes it go a little bit longer as well. Instead of a 20-minute final, it's a bit longer, not massively, but it's all Canada also does the same thing. Our qualifiers at nationals is a 500 piece, and our finals for pairs is 1,000. And my partner and I made that error in 2025, where we practiced 500s over and over and over and over again. But realistically, we were always going to make the final, but we didn't practice 1,000 pieces almost ever, and it hurt us in the final round. And I know there was people that practiced thousands a lot more in advance and did better. So it going into 2026, the mindset's a little bit different. We expect to make the finals, but how well do we do if we don't? We have to practice the 1,000 pieces. So do you think in 20? Do you think this will be how they keep it though in 2026?
I'm almost sure that's going to stay, not to my happiness.
And then we have the teams as well, and this is where there's a couple things to discuss here. Uh, for actually, before we do that, first of all, do you think I don't know if you're aware. Time zones and stuff are different and such. As we've been talking, I've gotten a alert from someone on my phone that the 2026 dates have been officially announced for the World Championships. Literally right now, as we're recording this, you can pull it up on your computer and check it out. It looks to be a shorter competition this year, 5 days. So from September 16th to September 20th. Straight away, initial thoughts on it being only 5 days?
I think the shorter the better, but for me, uh, the time and the longevity of it wasn't the biggest issue.
Yes, yes, there are some other issues.
Uh,
So that's an improvement, but we need more improvement.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any other information that's been released. Uh, yeah, as I'm checking this, I don't even know if I don't think there's a sign up, a registration time available yet.
No, they
maybe.
just say coming soon.
Yeah, so oh wait, registration begins January 1st, East Central Time.
February
Midnight.
1st.
Oh, February 1st. It's flashing on
Yeah.
and off. February 1st, right? Okay, so a bit of time. That's the same day as the Canadian national registration happens, so that'll be a fun day.
Um,
Oh, I think you should prioritize the Canadian nationals.
So yeah, we have a month and a bit to think about this. There's going to be some information that is released, obviously, hopefully, over the next month or so. Um, you don't have to answer this or not. There's still a lot of time to go. Do you think you'll return for the 2026 World Championships?
Well, there's one thing that I know unofficially, but it's confirmed, but unofficial. So, um, and the fact is that the championships are going to happen in Valladolid again.
Yes. Oh yeah, that wasn't. Yeah, we knew that. That was they waited so long to do all the other steps they need to do. It was all I think it was always going to come back to Valladolid again, which is going to impact some people.
Yes. I'll be making a video about it, about my, kind of journey with the Federation. But what I can say now is that I'm not going to go to World Championships next year.
You are just to speak. You are not going to the World Championships next year.
No.
That's big. I know you've hinted at it in the past with other things, but to hear it as it's it's definitely a loss. And if there's other big names, because look, we lost a lot from the U.S. in 2025, not coming over. Some of the big names from there. Uh, and I think there's going to be a few more. I don't think you're going to be the only one of the big names showing up.
or
I
not
know
showing up.
a lot of them.
Yeah,
We've been talking.
I don't doubt that for a second, and some things have come through to me as well. So it's it's going to be a different worlds, and I don't know. Now that it's announced that it's going to be when it's going to be and the sign up, maybe some people change their minds, but it's going to depend on what the rule system looks like, and there's a lot of other factors to come into play.
That's true.
Uh, which we'll come back to it. That it's the mixed teams. We need to talk about that because you're in a unique position when it comes to the mixed teams, and because of the team that you were on, there was a lot of eyes on your team, and yeah, so you were on the EJJ squad, which is a very much a mixed team. Four people from four separate countries that are fairly spread out countries. Why did you decide to form this this EJJ squad?
Um, so I wasn't initially going to join a team. And the team started shaping up in last year's Worlds, where some people were mm, unsatisfied with their current status of their teams and many different situations going on. And so some people decided to do this international team since there weren't any rules, against that.
Yep.
And from what I know is that Hannah and Andrea Peng, so Hannah Lehikoinen and Andrea Peng, they wanted to be on a team together, and they were talking with Chiara, and so they made this three-people team. Um, and moms were passing by, and they wanted to find a fourth person, and there was this discussion between, I mean, that's what I know, between me and Kati. And I told them that, like this choice is very simple to do because Kati is Kiara's pair. So like, that only makes sense. And that's how it happened. And then I know there were some tensions, not within the team, but from some backgrounds that some people were very unhappy with some people being in a team that is not going to represent their country. And after that, I made it to the team after some turmoils because I was last year in the Polish team that I also wanted to leave, but I wasn't really thinking about going to the international team. But I was like, okay, this team sounds awesome. I really,
Yeah.
really like all of those people. We talk a lot, especially at that time, before Worlds and during Worlds last year. It was amazing. I was just, spending time with them, socializing, which I don't really do. And that was awesome. And I was very happy that they asked me to join because this was so amazing to me that I can actually puzzle with friends.
Which, yes, so I think the premise of I like what I like about the mixed teams is that you can form a team with friends from various countries. One it's a rare opportunity to be able to enter a competition and have a team like that because in most cases you're going up against each other in pairs and individuals. Uh, what are your thoughts then when you have people that kind of say it's not really in the spirit of a world championship type of thing? Because when we look at the award ceremonies, the number of people that brought up their country flags onto the stage and were very much vocal about representing their countries. And in the individual rounds, we all have the flags beside our names, pairs for the most part, flags beside the names for the country that we're from. And then it kind of changes when it's teams. There's a lot more mixed teams, and some people aren't thrilled with that. What are your thoughts when it comes to those individuals?
Uh, to the individuals, I don't know. Everyone is allowed to think what they want, right? But about the teams, because I have my own internal conflicts regarding the mixed teams. Because on one hand is the fact that I have to agree with the fact that some people are really proud of being from some country, right? And they want to represent their country and they are very proud to be receiving an award and to be able to wear a flag. And interestingly enough, I had a flag when I was going on the podium to get the trophies at Worlds this year. But for me, it wasn't something like, oh, I'm so proud that I'm representing my country. I was just like Oh, I'm from Poland, yay! And also, it wasn't my flag. Someone gave it to me last second. So for me, it doesn't matter. So it's hard for me to relate. But I can see why people are discontent with the fact that the mixed teams exist, because from the outsider perspective, and also sometimes from the inside perspective, they can seem to be just, meticulously designed to be as fast as possible, and that is try harding or something like that. And to some extent, I feel that those sentiments are justified because it really looks that way. And we cannot really deny that we knew that we are going to be very fast and potentially we could win worlds. But we weren't really thinking that, oh, we made this team because we want to win worlds. So the purpose was different. Um, but this is also, just me talking about some excuses, right? But what I want to say is, for me, since I don't really care about the nationalities, um, for me, if someone wants to go with their flag and to represent their country, sure, why not? Uh, no, bravo. And I will do that probably too at some point because, like, yeah, I don't, it's very difficult to explain, but if you want to do that. And I don't think there should be an emphasis on the nationalities for any of the categories, because as long as we don't do this, I don't know, like medal classification, like in the Olympics, like what's the point of the countries? Like I don't really get that. But also this is me probably not being patriotic, right? So yeah, I have this my own. I am not fully decided yet on how to look at this. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I,
What's your perspective? I kind of know what's your perspective is.
So I've heard the Olympic analogy before, where we're not doing those types of standings and such, which is true. But we're one event. We're one activity or sport, or people will call it different things depending on how you perceive speed puzzling. But I look at more as that we are one sport within, we'll say, the Olympics or whatever. So for instance, the Winter Olympics are less than 2 months away. There's figure skating, and we're gonna have individual figure skating. We're gonna have pairs figure skating. We're gonna have the ice dancing competition, pairs, singles, and all the other on all of those. And within each group, each individual or pair will represent one specific country. So they're not taking the best Polish ice dancer and the best Canadian ice dancer or figure skaters and putting them together on a single pair. They could, but they're not going to do that. It's still, because I think it's just because it's the word worlds that gets thrown into it, so it just feels like it's we're representing a country, whether we are mentally representing the country or not. Like I don't, as can I have the Canadian flag beside me. That's yes, but it's when I was at Worlds, I wasn't there necessarily representing Canada, but I'm also not winning it, so it's a moot point. I think that when it came to, I think it was specifically the EJJ squad, because of the four um, dominant people that were on that team. It gave the perception, which I know isn't true, but it gave that perception of we formed this team to demolish everyone else, because who's competing with this power team that has been put together. I think it's just how people perceived it, whether it's true or not. It's just the perception that comes from it. I do think it's tough though. and it's where do we draw the line? I think it's is it country based? Because in Europe, people are traveling or not traveling. They are living in different countries than what their passports say, or they might work in one country and live in another country if they're close to a border. It's there's so much going on with it that it makes it the lines are so blurred, and the puzzle community in general. I think it overlaps so much. We if we go back to the Olympics, we don't have the opportunity. We're not practicing and training as specifically within our own country all the time. We're always mixing across. So I'm still on the side of I think it should be country based because the other rounds there is still the emphasis on it, and if you can't find the four best from your country to win the teams, then you just don't win the teams. For instance, who was it? The Czech puzzle queens who did I think they were second behind maybe second
Yeah, they were second.
second, yeah, and then the Aussie All Stars, which were fourth, I believe.
Yeah.
Very much their own, well, just in the names, very much country country focused when it comes to it. And then you have mixed teams like yourself, where it's yes, incredibly fast puzzlers, but are they doing it in the spirit of a world event? I don't know. It's a tough one for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I totally understand this perspective, but also, uh, I think we cannot really come to a conclusion if the perspective and like a reception of what worlds is to every single person is not the same. If everyone has a different idea what the worlds is about, then it's difficult to set rules in that regard.
Yeah.
But at the same time, mm, going back to the Olympic analogy, I think that we shouldn't make rules for mixed teams to be banned. We just need to make competitions uh, hard enough for only the like people living in one country to be able to train for that. And this is what Olympics are, right? If let's say there's ice skating, right? So they have to train together to be a pair. They cannot do it separately and they just come together and perform. In puzzles, we can because we chose this kind of format for our competition. But if we change the format to something that requires constant cooperation and constant training to be able to synchronize with one another, then there's a different story. And then mixed teams will just die out, right?
Yeah, it's so that's also a tough thing to look at. So are you kind of implying that we don't necessarily, I guess we don't need to, where do you think practicing with other people before you enter a competition, like a pairs competition or even teams for puzzles, is there a benefit to practicing a lot beforehand, like training as a group?
Yeah, there is, for sure.
But
Some
not as
people need more
important.
training, but you know, eh, with puzzles, because this is very specific, if you're a very strong individual, you're going to need less training for teams if you just meet up with also very good people, right? But and I am not claiming that I know what this should look like, but I think that if the team's event was about something different rather than doing 2,000 piece puzzles, maybe the training would be more beneficial in some way or other.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they make any adjustments for 2026, or if I think they're just going to keep things the same. Um,
Yeah.
but if there's going to be people that aren't returning, who knows what they might decide to do with it. And as we know, the rules can change 10 times between now and minutes before the first event happens. So we there's really no way to know how that's all going to work out.
That is true.
Um,
Moving on from the World Championships into something that's actually, let's lead into the next thing. First of all, speed puzzling seems to be on the rise globally. I think COVID helped a lot pushing puzzles in general because people were just looking for something to do or reigniting something that they used to do as a child, and now that there was all the different lockdowns and everything, we needed something to pass the time. But it's continued since COVID's been the lockdowns and stuff for COVID have been done for a while. But speed puzzling continues to rise. What do you think is pushing it?
What is pushing it? I think it's just people that are pushing it. It's difficult to measure the growth of the community in terms of the number of people, but we can see the rise of the level of speed puzzling, right? So one thing is for sure training and accessibility to materials about speed puzzling. And I'm not talking about like books or things, but you have so many different live streams, so many different people on the Instagram that are sharing what they're doing. Not all of them, but some. And yeah, like and also because of the online competitions, because they are streamed on YouTube and the transcript is available so you can look at it, you can learn by looking very closely. So it's a very different situation from, for example, watching Worlds when you have the cameraman and he or she is just standing there uh, in the distance and looking at you, and people are just seeing your hands moving, but they are not seeing the gist. And in the online competition, you can see that sometimes if someone has a good setup, but most of the very fast people have. So you can try to learn by observation if you're determined enough, right? And so this is one thing. The other thing is that more brands are more into speed puzzling. I've heard that last month there was this Schmidt competition in Germany that was happening there for a very long time, actually, every year or every other month. There are a lot of competitions in Germany, actually. And Schmidt just now realized what speed puzzling is, and they were like, "Oh wait, we can do unreleased puzzles next time. Like this is so fun." So I know a lot of different brands are being made aware of the fact that speed puzzling exists and that they can kind of branch out into this new trend, let's call it that way. But I wouldn't call it trend because I don't think it's going to ever die out. It's just going to spread and just stay.
I think so as well. What I do find interesting though, and I think this is the case for most puzzle companies. Someone mentioned to me recently, Ravensburger is included in this. They they don't have speed puzzlers essentially on staff, and or even like you don't need to have them on staff. Just outsource it to like it's easy to find speed puzzlers around the world to help like test out some of these newer designs. Do you find it a bit surprising that we really don't have that yet? Do you think it's going to be something they consider, or are they just whatever?
This is very difficult because most of the speed puzzlers um, have a very twisted perspective of training and performance. And it's very difficult to explain, but what I noticed in myself is that what really mattered for a lot of puzzles that I did during last year's training wasn't really about checking myself. It was really about checking how I do against other people. because I am very competitive. So for me, this is a natural thing to have. But I know a lot of people also do that. And so I know that if they went to some people and they wanted to, you know, have some contract with them that they want to give them those images and to check them out and do something. I know there are people that would agree to that, but also there would be people that would be very upset, probably myself included, because then I wouldn't be able to do the puzzles that they do because they were never released, right? So this is kind of a FOMO that would happen. But yeah, no, I think this is an interesting idea, and that might be beneficial, but also at the same time, I think the manufacturers and the companies are smart enough to see what puzzles are appearing at different events and learn from that. Yeah, I would say that.
I hope so. I mean, Canada had some overly difficult puzzles at our last nationals for our individuals and our team finals.
Oh,
Um,
I know.
you know,
Like, so it's they do get it right a lot, not always with it. I think if they did hire people to test it, I would have to imagine there would be some sort of clause in it that you can't compete in those competitions
Yeah.
when they're used. So like they wouldn't be able to approach people like yourself who are going for these top competitions, or I guess they could approach you for Worlds 2026 and test those puzzles, but it's you would have to, and it's finding the right ability level, because for instance, someone like yourself, you'll fly through most puzzles on there. While if someone's already taking 90 minutes or 2 hours, that might not be the best representative. So it's trying to find that middle ground, I guess. I'm in the middle ground, so if Ravensburger or Schmidt or someone needs somebody, I am here. Just in case anyone's watching, happy to test out puzzles. I won't enter the competitions; it's fine. But it's I think we're going to see some changes in the next few years because it is growing. While like the world's numbers from 2025 were down, I don't expect them to be much different in 2026 for the world championships. But the community as a whole, globally, I think is growing quickly. And more competitions are showing up, which we will get to very, very, very shortly. Someone asked me the other day, I think it was my grandmother actually, asked me if I can just sit down and do a puzzle casually. Don't worry about the time, just enjoy a 1,000 piece puzzle or whatever it might be. I responded with no. A few weeks ago, I know you saw it. I did the 1,000 piece rubber duck nightmare from Ravensburger that took almost 15 hours to complete, but I still timed myself. I wasn't going as fast as I possibly could have because I was more frustrated than anything else. But do you have a difficulty separating the two? Are you able to just to sit down and just enjoy a puzzle?
Uh, I have this thing that I can definitely enjoy a puzzle while not speeding it. But at the same time, I cannot really separate doing puzzles from training. So for me, even if I'm doing a puzzle not for speed, this is a training. So I am actually never relaxed. And yeah, I know it's difficult to balance that out, and I know it's difficult because I also cannot do that. But yeah, no, doing 1,000 pieces or more, like I think 3 days ago, I was doing 2,000 pieces with my family. And what happened was that I was like, okay, so we will do the puzzle together. and I will just sort everything for everyone. So they were just doing things, and I not even the puzzles, they were just doing like stuff in the house. And I spent like an hour to sort everything for everyone. And then we just sat down and were starting to do it. Yeah, and I was doing my pieces, and during those pieces, I was thinking to myself, okay, um, if I see those pieces, then they go there. And if they go there, then what's the next thing? Because if I have time, so I'm not speeding, if I have time, I can try to go into the prediction mode. So it's like if I place this piece here before placing it, can I visualize what the next one looks like? And like so many different things that I am doing subconsciously and I not really have control over the fact that I am doing that. So yeah, I feel you in that regard.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us are like it, where that just being able to sit down and do a puzzle, it's not the same anymore. There's always something in the back of the mind where how is this going to help me in the future for a competition? And it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's even in the last after Worlds, I'm trying to get down my like to do pile. That's just keeps getting bigger, and a lot of it's not competition brands. But even during those, it's okay. What can I take from this that's going to help when I do my next Ravensburger or whatever might show up in a virtual competition or something like that. It's I don't know. When I'm older, I hope I'll end up going back to it once my hands slow down and give out. But until then, it's do what I can.
You know
Um,
what helps? You can try to cross your legs and do it that way. That mentally stops me from trying to be fast.
Like like crossed legs up on a chair.
Yes.
Okay, then I don't know if I can physically do that anymore, but it would. I'll probably just tip over to the side. Well,
You
yeah,
can have, like like a what is this called? Like a small chair next to it to just rest the leg that that way. That's
I
what I
can
tend
rest
to do.
legs. Yeah.
and it's I think that's a good way to lead into the last topic for today, which a lot of people are talking about, and I've held it off till the end. We mentioned that the puzzling community, speed puzzling, is growing across the world, and we've had the world championships for 5 years. I think we've done now in total. The five spread over COVID, but five different world championships. But we have a new world event that was announced a couple months ago. And at the time of the recording, a lot more information has been released, so we'll get into that. But that is the World Series of Speed Puzzling. Before we go into any details, what were your initial thoughts when you saw this released? This information that there was going to be a new event, knowing nothing about it. What were your initial thoughts?
See, I didn't really have this opportunity to be not in the know.
Yeah.
Because when we were at Worlds, Melissa came up to the EGG squad, and she described the event and what it's going to be, and if we like it, what would we change, and so many different things. Not in terms of the challenges and stuff like that, but in terms of what do we think about the location and the date, and so many different things, and that she could still change or she could share with us, because the challenges would be, kind of not fair to share with us. Uh, so when I learned about it, I already learned the things that people learned after a while. So yeah, I was really happy with that. When she came up and she said that she is doing it, I was like, okay, okay. So these are going to be worlds for me now.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'll for that moment. So what we experienced in November, I think, when the teaser information came out that there was going to be a World Series. You just experienced that in September, so it was just earlier.
Yes.
So same question then, but what what were your thoughts then when you were first approached to get an opinion? When it was kind of this is probably going to happen. Well, which is hilarious that you were at Worlds when it happened, World Championships when it happened. It's going to be tough trying to speak about. You just can't say worlds anymore. It has to be world championships and world series.
Yeah.
What was your initial reaction then? Sorry, to a potential world series.
Uh, Overwhelming happiness. I was an advocate for having different puzzles being present at individual pairs, and for teams it was already there for the finals. Uh, I think I started talking about it online on different interviews that I want to have a solo final with two puzzles that you have to do back to back. Maybe you choose the order, maybe you don't, but you have to do two different looking puzzles to check if you are actually a world champion or you're just a very, very good puzzler with a lot of luck.
Okay, yeah, okay. We're definitely gonna come back to that. Uh, so as we're recording this, we now officially know the what the six challenges are. So it's for those people that might not be aware, the World Series will take place in Germany of this of 2026 over 2 days. It's six challenges, three challenges per day, uh, only for individuals. Everyone participates in every round, so there's no eliminations like we see at other competitions. And each round is a different challenge, trying to test a different ability when it comes to speed puzzling. So let's go through the rounds. We won't spend tons of time on each one, but just I'm curious about what your thoughts are for what these challenges are and what they're asking from people. So the first challenge is a 500 piece unreleased Ravensburger puzzle, and it's gradient themed.
Mhm.
Initial thoughts.
So, initial thought is that is going to be a very big gradient in the puzzle. That is not going to be just a gradient, but this gradient is going to have a purpose. So let's say we have this 500 pieces from Ravensburger with the lighthouse with a very big sky that is this rainbow colors. So I would say that this would be very similar, but the gradient would be even bigger and play a much bigger lore role in the puzzle.
Do you think it's going to be so? So not one giant gradient puzzle.
No, I think there are going to be also some things added to the gradient.
More like Excalibur Forest has the rainbow that goes through it a little bit, minimal, but so like that or more of a gradient.
More of a gradient, definitely, because the Excalibur Forest is um, a puzzle with underlying gradient, and what we are going to have, I think, is supposed to be a gradient that is turned into a puzzle. Like, I don't know how to explain the difference.
No, I kind of get what you mean, and and it might not even be like a rainbow gradient either. I think that's where people's minds go straight away. There's other types of
Yeah.
gradients as well, so it's um, but I do like how the description says there's a gradual change between the colors, so it's not going to be like the semifinals from the World Championships, the Paris puzzle, where it was the straight lines separating each section. That's not going to happen. But it may,
That's not the gradient.
yeah, it's but it could be something similar to that where it's changed into a grade. Like you could easily make that a gradient puzzle by making the background.
Flow a little bit
True,
more.
true.
So it could be something even like that. So I like the gradient. It's one of my more enjoyable types of puzzles to do. Um, but yeah, we'll see. Before we keep going through it, each round is 75 minutes. Are you okay with that as a time limit?
I think so. Yeah, because the puzzles, and we will come to that, I think, but I don't know if you were talking with Melissa before, but those puzzles, the images, are designed by speed puzzlers. So we are not in the complete darkness when it comes to, oh, are we going to get a puzzle that is impossible to do? No, we'll get a puzzle that is possible to do in that time frame.
I like that speed puzzles are being considered for or being asked for opinions and such. So even though we don't have people testing them, getting input from those that might be using them or the community that's using them, I think is a good idea. The second challenge is 500 piece Ravensburger unreleased uh, repetition based puzzle. And it contains colors, patterns, textures, or details which appear repeatedly. What does this mean to you?
For me, this can mean a collage. One one option is a collage that is going to have, so like different pictures in a collage are going to have something very similar to them. So maybe it's going to be a lot of Polaroid photographies, and the photographies are going to be different or slightly similar, but all of them are going to have those white borders. Maybe it's something like that. Um, and what else? Um, we cannot, and this is one thing that I think people are missing when thinking about the challenges, is the fact that if we had the first challenge and it was about the gradient, then the second one is most probably not going to have a gradient that is going to help you. So, because I think they want to this how to call that to like separate the skills as much as they can so that they can test those specific things. So with the repetition, I think what we are going to have is something like the photos or the collage, or something similar to, how do you call that? I don't know. What are your thoughts? I'll come back to it.
So when you mention collage, like I'm pretty sure you've done the U.S. Nationals puzzle red, white, and blue from 2025, where it's the two lines of red, two lines of white, two lines of blue, and they're all different flowers but in square boxes. Would that fall into a repetition concept for you?
Uh, Not really.
Okay.
What I was thinking about is you have Magnolia puzzles. They have very few 500 pieces,
Yeah.
but those that
The
they
puzzle collage.
have, those are collages. And one of them are like those figurines of little cats. And this could be something like that, but the cats would be much more similar to each other. So I think repetition means that there are going to be a lot of the same thing, but in many different places in the puzzle, or that we are going to have sections on the puzzle that are going to have repetition inside of them.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one to predict because repetition can mean a whole lot when it comes to this. I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be identical things or images back to back to back, but um, it's a tough one. Repetition can mean anything, and I think that's why they've described things as they have to not necessarily narrow it down or give anyone an advantage. It's what does repetition mean to you, and practice that, I guess, in the next 4 months. 4 months. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's a tougher one. The challenge three, though, I think is the toughest one to narrow down. Where again, it's a 500 piece unreleased Ravensburger puzzle, detailed. Like,
So, no, I think actually the third challenge description is helping in the second challenge, because if we are going on this road that the challenges are supposed to separate different skills, then we can assume that the repetition puzzle isn't going to be busy. And that's something, because what we could go for in the second one is that we have repeating patterns that are in different places. But going back to the third one, the repetition, I'm actually thinking about something along the lines of there is this very busy Schmidt puzzle that is from oh, this artist name. I don't remember. But she's very, very well known for busy illustrations and very well loved. She's from Great Britain, I think.
Okay.
I don't remember. What's the name?
Do you remember what
Uh,
some of the designs are?
I'm just thinking. She has those big 2000 pieces from Ravensburger that are very detailed, and a new 4000 piece that is very detailed, like a fairy world. Was she? Oh my God, I don't remember the name. Let me Google that.
Oh, the
I think I know which one you're talking about now. But yeah, it's. I don't think it's going to be overly deep because it's still a speed puzzle and it's only 500 pieces and 75 minutes. So it can't be
Yeah.
super, super detailed.
Um, yes. But also at the same time, you have people that are coming from the Netherlands and they have the Jan Verhaasten puzzles and they are super, super detailed. So I don't know where the scale ends.
that's true. Yeah.
And we have to
Um,
satisfy those, right? Because they know they are good at that, so they want to score points in that category.
Yeah, that is a good point where yeah, because it's challenge based. That's I think that's they've named the rounds challenges, not rounds, not events. It's challenges. So there should
Yeah.
be a different degree of difficulty for each one. If it goes to plan, in my mind, it would be you might have five people that dominate in the gradients because gradients their thing. But next round when it's repetition, they're not really as close to the top. They drop a bunch of places and five new people make an appearance at the top of the leaderboard and trying to get as many people competing going into that second day is going to be important. If it's one person dominating all the way through, then yeah, it's they're the best. But I'm hoping that's not what happens.
Yeah. And so the thing is that with the gradients, those are the puzzles that are naturally going to be faster, right? So I wonder if they're going to do something that is going to cause the gradient people to actually have an advantage over different people. So what I want to say is that if a gradient puzzle is easy because it's a gradient, then this challenge, first of all, is not a challenge. And the second of all, is that a lot of people are going to get a short time that is going to count in their overall stat, right? So I wonder if they're going to do something with the gradient that is going to make it harder, actually harder for people that are not keen on gradients.
It's it's tough because I see the point. I see the point. But if we skip down to challenge three, where it's about being detailed, where contains many feature items and details, it could be something like, and I kept it up here on purpose. It's the Hello vinyl from the Canadian Nationals. You've gotten this down to sub 20 minutes, which I first of all to side do just on a side note, you posted that you got under 20 minutes, and I outright did not believe that you had done it. And I said to someone, until I see a video of him doing it, I don't believe it's under 20 minutes. And within the hour, you had posted the recording of it on your YouTube channel. I watched it and I still didn't believe it. I was like, no, there's no possible way that that he got it under 20. But there's going to be people with Hello Vinyl. There's so much going on in that where you need to be able to organize all these details that are going on. And I know some people really struggle with puzzles like Hello Vinyl, or Kawaii Chaos from the World Championships this year in the third semifinal. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of details in that puzzle. I love those types of puzzles. I like where a piece can only go in one spot for the most part. While other people, it's you can't work on sections, and a gradient helps you work on sections. Repetition helps you work in sections, but detailed, no. That's the big downfall with it, and I do see a lot of people struggle. The more details there are, the slower their times become really quickly.
True. And I think comparing to the Hello Vinyl, I think the puzzle that we are going to get in the challenge 3 is going to be easier than the Hello Vinyl.
Oh
And
yes.
we are not going to have a vinyl in there, so no gradient inside.
Yeah, yeah. The disc technically is a blue gradient. It's a minimal gradient, but it is a. That just occurred to me. You could just have a single color gradient. That never occurred to me till just a second. So yeah, there's a lot. On to challenge 4, which is my favorite one because it's the only one that there's no way to prepare really for this, with a few exceptions. But challenge 4 is the mystery puzzle. We do not know the brand. 500 pieces. We don't know the brand. You'll also not get the image on the day either. So everyone will be puzzling blind for this. That's all we know. What were your thoughts when you saw this challenge? Because now that we're in a real challenge situation now.
I felt panic because I live off of the box. So for me, not having the picture is going to be a traumatic experience for sure. And I also started already preparing for that. I talked to people in my family and also to my friend from Poland that is doing speed puzzling, uh, that I want them to basically use my money and to buy puzzles that I don't have and just give me the pieces. And I just train that and I don't train anything else. I just need to train my brain to be able to not shut down immediately when I don't know where something goes. Because even for easy puzzles, if I build something off of to the side and I don't know where to place it, I'm just like, no, this is the end.
I I've always thought that I didn't spend enough time looking at the box image, and over the past 6 months, 7 months or so, I spent a lot more time forcing myself to look at the box more often, and it was helping with my times because I wasn't trying to guess as much. I was at a puzzle event yesterday, actually, just like a social gathering thing, and we did a 300 piece puzzle, no box image provided. And it was a shaped puzzle, so no clear border either. It was, which made it so much more difficult. I did a really old 500 piece Ravensburger, large piece Ravensburger 500. That was like a vintage puzzle with a partner. No image for that. And then another one where we had part of the image. It's, you might be familiar with them. They're the twist puzzles. So you have the box image, but there's the actual puzzle's different than that in some way.
That's the worst.
Yeah. And I realized really quickly I actually look at the box a lot more than I thought I do, because there was times I was staring at the puzzle going, I have no idea where this is going. And I think there's going to be a lot of people struggling in Challenge 4. I don't know if 75 minutes is going to be enough time for a lot of people.
Yeah, that might be a problem. But also, we just saw before Christmas at the first unboxed EJJ that it's not really a problem for some. So yeah, we'll see
It's
how it
gonna
happens.
It's going to depend on the image for sure. The busier the image, the tougher it's going to be.
Oh
If
yeah, for sure.
if you can pretty much figure out what the image is early on, you're in better shape. But yeah, if it's like, imagine, I'll go back to it again, the Kawaii Chaos puzzle. If you don't have an image for that, a box image, you're gonna have people there for hours trying to finish that, because anything can go anywhere. That's gonna be so difficult to do.
Yeah, but
yeah.
also I think with the Kawaii Chaos, with this type of puzzle, we would need to change the strategy a lot. Because when you have the image, you can just grab colors, build something, and place it. And I think for um, unboxed edition, you would need to go for the edge and then try to look for the pieces that have something that connects to the edge. And so try to build inwards. You could do sections, but you wouldn't be able to place them where they go. And you would need to use the context clues on the pieces. And this is a very different skill from noticing it on the box. So that's going to be interesting. And also, I hope that the challenge 4 is not going to be gradients. And I think it won't be.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But are there any brands you're hoping don't show up for this, or brands that you do hope show up? Because we don't know the brand either. That's what makes it even more challenging.
Yeah, so yeah, I would hope to have a Ravensburger because the piece cut would help me. But I know, maybe I don't know, but I'm expecting to not get a Ravensburger there, and I'm okay with that. I think it would be nice to have a truffle for this, specifically the Premium Plus, because the normal truffle is, yeah, that would be. Don't do that. Melissa, don't do that.
Yeah, I think Truffle was my guess as well. Just because the European nationals, I think it's going to be Truffle. Schmidt could also make an appearance as well, that being that they're in Germany. Uh,
True.
it's But saying that, on to challenge 5. A circle puzzle shows up, because of course a circle puzzle has to show up in these challenges, and it's Gibson's, which I was shocked that
Me too.
Gibson's was making a UK based brand. Have you done many Gibson puzzles?
I have
Well,
only done Gibsons at online competitions, and I think like two of them, and never a circle, neither the next one.
yeah, yeah.
But that's
Gibson's
going to be, yeah.
Gibsons are tough. It's I wonder if Gibson's is going to try to figure out why they're going to have a huge spike in purchases over the next few months, because I know there's a lot of people that haven't done them, and the December Canadian virtual competitions were Gibson's puzzles. So I practice Gibson's a lot during the December months to give myself some sort of advantage going into the virtual competition, and it definitely helped doing that brand, because there's some interesting things when it comes to the pieces that you need to be aware of before you just randomly get. Now, I haven't done a circle puzzle, so I have no idea what their circles are like. But
Yeah.
there's there's interesting piece textures and their fit is interesting as well. So they're I'd recommend people would try them out and practice them in advance, but who knows?
Yeah,
Are you?
I can call it by the name. It's the Gibson's false fits.
Yeah.
I don't know if you experienced false fits, but
Yeah. Yeah.
the false fits in Gibsons are crazy. And that's why when I saw it's a circle, I was like, oh, there's hope
Yes.
that it's
Uh,
not going to be as false fitty as the normal pieces. And also the panorama puzzle,
for
maybe the
challenge
pieces will
six.
be different. Yeah.
Yeah, so yes, Gibson's has some false fit issues with it, mostly when it comes to the border, though. Within the puzzle, it's much better, from my experiences. It's the border that can be a challenge, and that's the case for a lot of brands. It's unless the cut's really really clear. There's a lot of brands have even Ravensburger can have false fits if their border is really challenging. Um, I've done like if it's a lot of plant based borders where it's just like grasses and things like that, you can have a really, really close fit that you don't notice until later on. So it happens with the borders. And then yeah, the panoramic for challenge 6. An interesting choice because it's 636 pieces, so a little bit different. 90 minutes,
Mhm.
also unreleased. I love that every round's unreleased, so yep. Panoramic though. That's
What
That's
I have,
something.
I have a
Yeah.
concern. What's your thoughts? Because you're definitely first of all, you're going to the World Championships. I'm assuming. I didn't actually ask that. Your World Series, you're going to.
Series.
Yes, you're
Yes,
going to the World. Yes. Okay. That,
I am.
I just assumed. I shouldn't have, but I assumed you were. Because why would you not? Uh, what? Okay. So what are your thoughts then with this panoramic 636 pieces puzzle?
Uh, that is going to be interesting. And I wonder why they went for such a weird piece cut. I mean, I know that the puzzles that Gibsons have as a panorama, they have this piece cut, the piece count. But yeah, I don't know. That's very unique. The only panoramic puzzles I have done were the Ravensburgers, and two of them were 1,000 pieces.
yeah.
So I don't really have anything against the panoramic puzzles. And also, we need to remember that the space for each individual in
Yep.
the competition is going to be 90 by 80. So there's a lot of space.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's more pieces, 136 more pieces. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, 136 more pieces. Panoramics are long as well, so I don't even know how long a Gibson's panoramic puzzle is. So you might be taking up a lot of space in like building the border. It's going to stretch right across that table space. If people aren't practicing these specifically the Gibson's panoramics in advance, I think they're gonna struggle on that particular challenge because spacing will definitely be an issue when it comes to challenge 6.
Yeah, that's what I think this challenge should be actually called. So, like a special, not special, spatial challenge.
Yeah.
Not a
Yeah.
panorama, just spatial management.
Yeah, well, there still is at the time of the recording 4 days before the advance tickets go out, so they can make the changes up until then. They might change the name. Reach out to Melissa, recommend it. Spatial spatial challenge.
There
What
was
are
one
your?
rule change actually, before the announcement of the full six list of the challenges. Because in the first iteration of the rule book, it was stated that we are going to have 60-second time frame for unpacking the puzzles and doing things and checking if everything is all right, and then we have time to, tell something to the judges if something is not right. And I reached out to Melissa and we debated that, and she also debated that with the people that she's working with, and it decided to abolish that because they decided, okay, it worked in Worlds in the last years, uh, and it shouldn't be such a problem to just see how much time has passed for someone and to give them, how do you call that? The edited time if something is wrong with their puzzle. So like current puzzles that was given a different puzzle. I
Yeah.
mean, this is a minority case and it can be handled, right? So we we debated on that, and the rule changed. So now it's go and we go.
And even if you plan for something like what Karen Puzzles had, where it was a different puzzle, this year at the World Championships, one of the Canadian speed puzzlers, Rolanda, her box was New York postcard, but the pieces inside were garden birds.
Yeah.
So there's no way to have known that. You could have given them an hour to stare at the box. There's no way to know that it was going to be a whole different puzzle inside. So yeah, I've always been a fan of you open the puzzle and you open the bag and you go straight into the puzzle. That's what we practice. That's what we train for. So I'm glad that's going to be the case for this. It's yeah. What are your overall thoughts then with the World Series now that we know the vast majority of the information? Do you think the tickets will sell out really quick?
Hmm. I don't know. I would expect them to, but at the same time, their marketing isn't as visible. And I think those tickets are going to sell out, but not on the first day. And because I think more and more people will be, informed about the event, and they will really like the structure and the idea and everything, and they will sign up. But I don't think there's enough people right now you know, to fill in all of the spaces in like 24 hours.
Yeah.
And what
Who
are
knows?
my thoughts about oh, wait, go on.
Just to add to that, also who knows? Because this episode, I'm planning to be released pretty much the day these tickets go on sale or just before. So if people watch this, that's going to be part of, I guess, the marketing now for this. And I've done a few videos. They released more images on their Instagram page today for the event. So there's going to be a push, I think, in this week leading up to the early bird tickets releases, and then yeah, by the time the second wave hits, I think the event over will sell out for sure. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Um, and about the World Series in general, I was really, maybe not longing because this is the first time ever, but I was really hoping for someone to do a competition like this, or for Worlds to change in this direction. And so the fact that we have this whole big competition is going to happen, and also is very close to Poland, so I'm not complaining. And so like it's such a dream come true for me. And I know that for many people as well. I know some people from, the very highest level of speed puzzling that are going there, and they are not going to the World Championships. And because this is in many people's minds, this World Series is actually this universal checklist of how do we find the actual fastest speed puzzler in the world. And this is very exciting to see who it's going to be.
Yeah, and it's because of how it's set up, and I've mentioned this in a previous video. I really hope that because there's only 340 spots, my hope is that the vast majority of the 340 are made up of the fastest speed puzzlers in general. The World Championships is very anyone can go to the World Championships. There's that casual aspect. There's a lot of social aspect with it. From how this World Series is being how it's designed, how it's being laid out and communicated, and even in their on their page, their website, saying before buying tickets, consider the short timings and everything else that goes along with it. I'm hoping the majority of the 340 competitors are incredibly fast, so we have that full experience of people really competing.
Yeah, this is one thing, but also we need to remember that the participation fee is quite high when it comes to like in comparison to other European competitions, because I know that like in US those competitions are crazy expensive. But in European standards, this competition is a lot of money. But there's one thing, this one bit of information that I wanted to share is the fact that Melissa told me that all of the puzzles that they are having in the six challenges, they are not sponsored. They bought them themselves. And that in that way, they have the absolute control over what the images are. And they don't have to, go out with the uh, surprise brand in the fourth challenge because they bought the puzzles. They didn't get them. And that's amazing. And also, what I've heard is that they are not going to be run by volunteers, but by actual paid workers. So that's amazing, and I support all of that.
I think that's really important, and I hope to speak with Melissa soon. I'm not revealing any guests I may or may have on this series in advance, but I think if and the invitation has been sent out to Melissa, but I think that's something that's really important to communicate. People in my experience, people are more willing to spend more if they know where the money is going. Um, you can charge a lot for an event, but is it going to the people running the event, or is it going where is it going? And if people know, like what you just said, you're essentially paying for the puzzles that are unreleased. No one else can get them at the same time. Who knows when they'll be released later as well, or where. Um, for instance, Canada still can't get the World Championship puzzles. There's no way for us to get them. Even through the States, we can't get them. Uh, and yeah, instead of volunteers running things, paying for the camera people, I'm assuming there will be camera people there. If they're doing live stream situations, there's money that gets put into that to make sure that runs smoothly with equipment. There's so many factors that go into it that, yeah, if it's a bit more expensive, but I know why, I'm okay with it.
Hmm. I mean, I was okay with it in the very beginning as well, but then after hearing that, I was like, oh, okay.
I think it also makes it does make a difference. Like, well, you're in Poland, so you're right beside Germany. If I'm flying to Germany and so I'm paying just to get there, which is not cheap, flying out of Canada, and then on top of it, there's all the other stuff that I need to pay for. If I know where the money is going, I'm okay with spending it or not spending it if I make that choice. But it's yeah, I like that, and I hope if I hope that's communicated as clearly as possible to people with it. Just to wrap up the World Series, then topic, and before we go into our final little bit, is there any challenge? You kind of already mentioned one. Is there any challenge that you would have liked to see that wasn't included this year?
I would love to see a random cat in one of the challenges. Because I think that no matter if we see the box, if we don't see the box, if it's a gradient, if it's a detailed puzzle, it doesn't really matter for the very fast people. What can throw them off is not having a standard piece shape. And I know that from experience.
Now, potentially, couldn't Challenge 4 be a random cut? Because we don't know the brand.
Oh, oh, now that's interesting.
Yeah,
Maybe, maybe.
yeah,
Um,
there's anything could show up. So
I
there's
mean,
potential.
I mean, I doubt that because I think that the challenges have a very specific purpose, and for this challenge, the purpose is to like test the ability to puzzle without a picture, and having the random cut on top of that would be like checking two skills at the same time, and we wouldn't know who is actually so good with random cut and who is just good with not having the picture. And I think the challenges are meant to separate all of that.
Yeah, like I mentioned to you earlier in this, I did those no image puzzles yesterday. And one of the 300 piece one was also with that didn't have a clear border, was also a random cut. So it was there was so much going on. It was not the easiest puzzle at all. Not enjoyable. It was all the things I don't like in a puzzle. So it was not ideal with it. So yeah, that's those five topics. I think were perfect to cover this. My goal for the international version of this was to have shorter conversations, but I think because you have so much to bring to this, and yeah, people want to hear what you have to say. Just closing out with this, I ask everybody these on my Canadian version of it. I'll continue with the international ones. Three separate things. The first is goal setting. People follow you. You're influencing people to be better at speed puzzling, but you yourself have your own goals and such that you are looking towards. How do you go about setting out realistic but still challenging goals for yourself, given that you're one of the top puzzlers in the world?
I believe in small steps. And for me, even though I could have big dreams, I know that I need small dreams to, reach the big summit. So, what I do is if I knew, like in the very beginning of speed puzzling, that I wanted to be the fastest one in the world. I knew that from the very beginning, but I knew that this dream is not going to be realized because I have the dream. So what I do is I try to find something for myself that I see is not perfect and try to work and train and to find the small accomplishment through that, and for this accomplishment to be a fuel towards the bigger goal. So let's say now I know that my imperfection is mm, is doing puzzles without the box. I mean, I have never done it, but I know that I'll probably cry in the corner. Uh, and I know that when I take a puzzle and do it for the first time, I'm going to be miserable and I'm going to be slow. But what my goal is to not be miserable. And I'm not thinking about how fast I'll do it. My first goal is to not, lose my head. And that's it. I just do the small steps and they lead somewhere. I don't know even where.
I think that's important to. I think a lot of people set really big goals, and they're so much harder to accomplish. But yeah, the smaller goals can help you get to those big ones. So I think that's great advice. The and then part of this channel includes, and your channel as well, includes little tutorial things or a piece of advice. Just to help those that are maybe getting into speed puzzling or looking for different tips and tricks to kind of push themselves to be better, even if you're close to or at the top of speed puzzling. Is there any type of advice or a challenge or something along those lines that you can give to me that I can showcase on this channel in the near future?
Hmm, I would say um, repetitions are your friend. So, and I don't mean it in like a challenge too. I mean it for puzzles. What you can learn the most is by repeating the same puzzle, by checking different orders of assembling, by checking different um, ways of noticing details. Or if you have a sky, try to start with the clouds and then the background, or the other way, try the background then the clouds. Try to do both of them at the same time. Try to pick and place the clouds. Try to sort out the sky by sort it out in three different piles: lightest pile, darkest pile, and the rest. Uh, Try many different things and maybe I know, I just figured out. Flowers. I have an advice for flowers.
Good, good. What's your advice for Is it don't do flowers? Because I can do that.
No, do flowers, do flowers. Um, what are flowers? Like, what is the difficulty in flowers? I would say the difficulty in flowers is the inability to tell the direction of the piece. Because the flowers are, everywhere and in all different directions. So try to treat flowers, and also the same works for fur. If you have flowers or fur, try to treat this as a gradient, as a textural gradient, and try to go with the colors, not looking at the leaves, not looking at the stems. Just go and take the lightest pieces of the flowers, assemble some of them, then the darkest ones, then try to go pick and placing the flowers, but not by the flowers, by but by the background of the flowers. And also for um, as I said, the stems, right? Sometimes in puzzles, when you have flowers, you also have stems. So you can go for the stems and remember that these are real things. So if you have a stem that is leading up to the flowers, you also have to have those little leaves, and it's going to be darker, closer to the bottom of the flower. Like there's so many different things that you have to remember about the flowers that is going to help you if it's a photograph. If it's a illustration, it's different. Uh, but yeah, that's essentially it. This is the recipe for flowers.
Yep. Okay. There's that's that's about 4 or 5 different episodes for me coming up. So that was perfect. And yeah, flowers. Yeah, it's not my favorite at all. But no, that's great. All I have left are some quick fire questions here. So before we get to that, just as a reminder, your social media platforms, you have your YouTube channel and your Instagram under Wiktor D Puzzler on there. All this is in the description below. Do you also post yeah, you put your times on things like my speed puzzling and such as well?
Yes, exactly. I
Yeah,
put
so
all of my times there.
Every single attempt?
Uh, if it's a repeated try and like with Hell Vinyl, I don't put them all because like I don't want to uh like have the stats skewered. So I just put the last one because I don't have time.
Fair enough. I'm similar as well, with ones I do a lot. Um, yeah. So just into some quick fire questions here, straight to the point. Number one is, what is your favorite brand?
Ravensburger,
Your favorite piece count?
1000.
Okay. Your favorite cut style?
Great cut.
And your favorite speed puzzle event?
So far, Polish nationals.
Your favorite puzzler?
Kristen too. And Veronika Huptas. I cannot decide.
Your the favorite your favorite puzzle that you've ever done?
Favorite puzzle. Uh, oh, that's difficult. Um, hmm. I think it's not going to be a Ravensburger, actually.
That's fine.
Um, no, no, it's going to be Ravensburger. It is red lionfish from the animal series from Ravensburger.
Really? Why?
I just think that this puzzle is perfect. Like, it has the perfect amount of gradients, details, repetition, and changing variation of blurriness in the left bottom corner. Like, it is perfectly difficult to be solvable. Like, yeah, I don't know. A perfect balance.
Wow.
That's an interesting answer. I like it. The hardest puzzle you've ever done?
Hardest one. It's 500 pieces. Ravensburger. And I will show it to you now.
Okay.
Yeah, there are some challenging 500 piece puzzles for sure. Yeah, if it is, I wonder what it's going to be. Could be the peacock. Peacock could definitely be on there.
No, no, Peacock is not the hardest. This is the hardest.
Oh no, I don't even know where you'd start with that.
Oh, you don't. You don't touch it.
How long did that take you?
I think 3 hours and 15 minutes.
That's still very impressive. That's a puzzle that there's a lot of people that would never finish it. Which so to be under 4 hours, not very impressive. Your least favorite design to see in a puzzle. So like mine is flowers, fur type of thing. What's your least favorite thing to see?
My least favorite would be, uh, and I hate to say it, but it would be this direction of like art style and also what was in the puzzle for Heroes Final in this year's Worlds. And why? Because I love the concept of the puzzle,
This one
but
here, the 1,000 piece.
yes, this one. Uh, I love what's inside of the puzzle, and I love the busy birdies that are included into this puzzle. And actually, I am also in this puzzle. The yellow
Really?
shirt is me, yeah, and Natalia is next to me. Um, but I don't know, like this kind of realistic, but also pastel and painting and not sure what is something that I would avoid for sure. It's too, maybe not too. I like well-defined things, and this is very, um, I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Um, there's some. I get it. Your just a couple more to go. Your favorite puzzle moment that you've had.
My favorite puzzle moment would be European Championships with the individual final where I got third place. Because going into that competition, we all knew the puzzle that is going to be in the final because of the mishap we had with the back of the box from
Yeah.
Treffle. Um, and I was really down for most of the time during the competition because I knew that this puzzle was going to be in the final, and I really wanted to do well in the final. And those were gradients mostly, and it was so hot in Budapest as well. Like it's not comparable to Worlds, but it was also very hot.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I was thinking before the final that it's going to be awful, and it was, but now and in that moment when I finished and I figure out that I beat Christian, I was I was so shocked. I was so happy, and it was the first moment ever that I believed other people telling me that you're very fast and so many different things because I could be first in EJJs and do so many great things, but I would also think all the time that it's just luck and and this was the first time that I was like, okay, I think that I actually can do what I am training to do. And that was beautiful for me.
That's good. That's a good story. Your favorite way to get new puzzles?
Second hand.
Okay. And then last question, wrap it all up. Your dream puzzle that you've not been able to do yet.
Hmm. Um, I don't really have the unicorn puzzles, to be fair. Um, but I know that there is. Uh, I actually have just done the puzzle that I wanted to do for so long. The 7,000 pieces from Ravensburger, the new one. Um,
Yeah, that's a popular wish list for a lot of people. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, oh, I know. I wanted to do. It is. Was I want to do the 5,000 pieces um, Pokemon puzzle from Ravensburger. Yeah, this one.
That is also a popular one as well. Yeah, that's on my list to do. That is everything. Thank you so much, Victor, for one being the first guest on this international series that is coming out on here, kicking off the new year. An extended episode, so much information that you provided. I know people are going to be excited to see this. Again, can't thank you enough, and I hope all the best things for you in 2026, especially at the World Series of Speed Puzzling. Yeah, thank you so much.
And thank you for having me again. And I hope to see you in Munich next year in the World Series. And I have a question. What is your dream puzzle?
Oh, the questions aren't supposed to come back to me for these ones. It's for the dream puzzle. If if I had this space, and that's the main thing that holds it back, if I had this space, it is that it's the giant Disney puzzle. Not the one that we did at the World Championships this year. It's the other one where
Yeah,
it's the different scenes from the
yeah.
Disney films. Not particularly because I love Disney, which I love. Disney's great. It's just a puzzle of that size, working through it over the course of months to get through it, knowing that I'm not doing it for speed because that would obviously be removed from it, but it's the space that comes down to it. It's the two you mentioned, the Pokemon and the Ravensburger 7,000 that was released. Yes, those are on the list, but I would love to do one of those giant puzzles. But maybe one day.
Would you mix the bags?
Yes. Uh,
Oh.
yep. I would make it as hard. I want to do it as properly as possible. So it would take a lot. That's how I know I wouldn't be timing it because it's going to take months
Mhm.
to get through it. And
True.
yeah, you'd have to dedicate a full room. I would redo it a second time, bag by bag, but nope, the first time I would make it as authentic as possible. So Did the 7,000 come in different bags?
It did, but I mixed them.
Good.
But it was also a challenge. I speed puzzled this puzzle.
7,000. Okay, well, how long did it take?
I cannot tell you. The video is coming up.
I was hoping you're going to say that. So a nice preview to again make sure to check out Victor's YouTube page. There's a lot of interesting things on there, and again, follow him on Instagram as well. Again, thank you, Victor, for taking the time, and I hope to speak with you soon.
Same to you. And see you again.
Bye.
Bye.